Hello everybody, this is Dr. Z. DrZHealingArts.com is the website. And Happy New Year's to everyone. Happy belated New Year's. I have been very busy traveling, jet setting around, giving talks, still working on writing the book. Super Supplement course is now, it's really the next video. I will put it in video form first, and then I'll put it in written form, so it's a little easier to put it, a little quicker to get it out in video form, and then do the writing secondarily to that. So it's going to be an exciting 2014. I hope everybody has got their plan for what they want to do, has something that they're committed to, and something that they're very excited about, so they can apply their creativity and then use the knowledge of which myself and other healers are talking about, especially naturopathic methods to energize and heal. And as I always like to bring, positive energy, peace, power, and prosperity, and most of all, love to you and your loved ones. Today's topic, I'm going to be very loose because today I want to be give a general overview of health. I think the way to start 2014 is a general top-down overview of health, top down. And I think that's the easiest way to learn, big picture to little picture. So let's talk about simplifying. Let's talk about the simplicity of health. And what do I mean by that? I mean literally health is the basics of health, which is always at its core energy. What's meant by energy? Everybody talks about energy. Well, energy is a power. It is a form of power that vibrates at a specific frequency and vibratory nature, right? And that's how things are identified. Each thing vibrating. The jacket I'm wearing is vibrating at a particular frequency. The light that lights this room is vibrating at a particular frequency, and this is what gives it its nature. But remember, the core of all creation, especially physical creation, is duality. If we look at just the atom at its core is duality in motion. And that motion is a spinning motion. We have an electron juxtaposed to a positron, and in the middle, a neutron. And this becomes the building block of creation, a spinning duality force. And we know that this force can release a tremendous amount of energy, i.e. nuclear power, nuclear bombs. So the spinning of an atom, when it is broken, the energy that it releases is pure light energy. Now let's talk about light real quickly. Light is like clay. It is like the clay of the universe. And those, especially the creator of all, the source of all light, remember light has intelligence imbued with it. It's almost impossible to separate the two. But for this purpose, I'll separate consciousness and light. The source of all, universal mind, universal consciousness, God as we like to call them, has at its core light. And that light is spread out all over. You can call it cosmic light if you like, golden white light. It doesn't matter how you want to identify it, but it is light. It's the highest form of frequency and vibration. It's pure energy, but it is also pure love. Keep that in mind as we begin to talk. The creative mind, of course, the source of all is the most creative mind. It's the most creative consciousness in the universe because it created us. It takes light and plays with it. We do as well. We are light beings. So therefore, the creative process is a process of taking light and playing with it. When God or cosmic consciousness plays with this light clay, it brings things into manifestation, right? It brings things into creation, manifestation. It creates the duality. The duality is always what brings the creative light clay into manifestation. Remember, what we see is really an illusion. There's nothing really. There's no such thing as really solid matter. Matter is as porous and as light as anything else. But when we look at it for this soul's incarnation, for your incarnation, my incarnation on planet Earth, we need to have the appearance of solidarity or solidity, so as to give us the illusion of this playground that we call planet Earth and physical reality, so that we can have the soul growth. All right, but remember, the soul at its core, we are light beings. Okay, we talked about creation being light coming down into duality, pulling apart. Right, we talked about physical creation as the positive and negative charges going around a neutral charge. All of, if you look at all of creation follows this pattern: duality, things juxtaposed to one another, spinning around. A planet spinning around the sun spinning around, we call it a solar system, the sun spinning around its galaxy, so we call it a galactic system, and the galaxy spinning around the super galaxy, and it goes on and on. So, excuse me. And so we have to understand that the basis of creation is through light manipulation. Think about that, because it is very, very important that we get the fundamental grasp of light creation. Now, to simplify health and healing, because this is where we want to go with it, I just gave you sort of a top-down view of creation. Very simplified view of creation. Now, how do we apply it? Well, when we look at the mind or the consciousness of an individual, we see the polarity again. In this case, the mental or conscious polarity or thinking polarity happens to be that of fear on one side of the pole and love on the other. Fear creates disharmony, disunity, it's disruptive, it's acidic in nature, it creates racism, hatred, unnecessary violence, etc. Love is the very opposite: unifying, healing, creative at its being, harmonizing at its being, healing in its nature, okay, and a high harmonious vibration. It's almost like two different forms of music. One, and I'm not, please don't leave terrible comments if I say disharmonic heavy metal in comparison to classic. Okay, now my favorite music is reggae, so I'm not even, it's just that one is very disharmonic and the other one is very smooth and harmony, and you can see the effect that the two have on one another, and its frequency and vibration, how it's put together. So love is the harmonizing, the fear is the disharmonizing. It's where heat comes from. It's where anger comes from. It's where all these negative emotions come from. It's where wars develop. It's where mistrust enters, and love is the opposite of that. Now, love is an energy that's vibrating at a particular frequency in a particular manner. Now let's look at the body. To simplify it, I mean, we are really trying to go to just simple concepts here. The body, and I've talked about it before in previous videos and articles on the website. Acidity, alkalinity, acid or base, acidity, alkalinity. It's that simple. Anything that we do to the body to push it more to the alkaline side will usually give us a positive or healing reaction. Anything that pushes the body to the acid side will give it a more of a disruptive or disharmonizing effect. Why? We know that all waste is acid. Well, how do we know that? Because we can measure the pH of urine. We can measure the pH of sweat. We can measure the pH of the digestive waste from the GI tract, from the food we eat. It's all acid. And we want to neutralize that acid or push the acid out as quickly as possible. Why? Because the body, the blood pH, must stay at a pH of 3.65, a 7.365 or 7.4, just to round it off. So we must have a alkaline forming way of thinking in order to heal the body. This is why I am a big proponent of the raw food diet, raw food consciousness, raw food lifestyle, if you will. It's not even a diet anymore. You understand acid and base chemistry or acid and alkaline chemistry. If you understand light chemistry, if you understand vibration and frequency, if you understand the sunlight, if you understand Mother Nature being imbued with the sun's energy, i.e. a positive energy with a negative energy. In this case, we're not talking about good and bad, we're talking about poles of existence. In other words, the electron is not good or bad and compared to the positron. They're just opposite poles of one another. So we're not putting a judgment here. That raw food is coming directly from the earth, which means it's grounded and it also has the sun energy in it, and this is the highest form of eating that humans can aspire to. All animals aspire to it naturally. Most animals, of course, we know are omnivores or vegetarian or fruitarians. So there's the raw food diet that is alkalinizing. Why is it alkalinizing? Number one, cleansing, so it helps to get rid of acid waste. Number two, higher mineral content, which helps to alkalinize. And number three, it contains the essential fatty acids that we need, and it contains high concentration of nutrients. When we eat anything, as we get away from that, the more processed, the longer the food is sitting away from having been harvested from Mother Nature, the more that it's processed, cooked, bottled, packaged, and cooked some more, the nutrient content actually becomes counter healthy to us. In other words, it will create a disharmonious state or an acid state. So as we in our ignorant state go on and process everything, we get things in a acid form. So eating the standard American diet obviously is an acid forming diet that creates disease. And how do we know that? Because we know that cancer and heart disease are number one and number two diseases in the United States right now. So, and we know that most of the time, the doctors, the mad scientists, as I refer to them affectionately, by the way, I'm not putting them down. My job is to raise everybody's consciousness, including my fellow physicians, the mad scientists, as I refer to them, to raise their consciousness, use their knowledge in a different way, mostly on a naturopathic or an energetic way, because ultimately all health follows an energetic pathway. Right? So we increase the energy, we decrease the acidity by increasing alkalinity, and we raise the energy and the nutrient value of what we're eating. Raw food diet does that perfectly. If you have a problem, especially a chronic problem, you need to go on a 90-day detoxification, and at the core of that detoxification will always be a raw food diet. And this is why most people fail when they detox, because they don't go on a raw food diet, they don't hydrate enough. Obviously, pure water is part of that acid dilution, because if you have acid, what does the body do? First off, it dilutes it with water, with liquid. The lymph system is the first phase of dilution. So the body is very, very attuned in its sanitation department to get rid of acid. But again, the simplicity of it is so simple as sometimes I'm almost embarrassed to get up here and have to talk about it. Acid and alkalinity. Love and fear. But somehow we've lost our common sense. Somewhere along this pathway, we have lost our common sense to understand that this is truth. And not only to understand it on an intellectual level, but to understand it on an intuitive level within the core of our being. When that is understood within the core of your being, you connect to the core of your being, which is always light. And this is how people ask me, well, how is it that you went through a divorce, you went through this bad situation, you went through this terrible time, you're dealing with sick people all day. How is it that you stay happy, you stay playful, your mind stays creative? I said, well, two things. Number one, I'm connected to the core, and and that core is light, and nothing, and I mean nothing, can touch it. It is infallible. It cannot be touched. It cannot be messed with. You have that same core. I'm nothing different, but it's a self-realization of who you truly are and what you truly represent. Massively creative light beings. You understand? Okay. Now, and we're borrowing these bodies on an atomic level for creation and for our incarnation and soul growth experiences. And soul growth is nothing more than energetic, increasing, right? The consciousness ultimately becoming self-aware of what it really is. And if you do that, if you can accomplish that on planet Earth, because remember, the programming, even from our cells from the beginning, was for us not to realize that. Why? Because if you realize the truth and you pull back the curtain and you see the truth of everything, you no longer will react to the things that are occurring here. Not at least in a negative way. As a matter of fact, things become quite comical, and you'll find those who are more advanced laugh a lot more. And you see me laughing every day. It could be tragedy and I'm still laughing. Not at the person's tragedy, at the way that people are responding to tragedy. It is not what it appears. And if you get sucked into the negative energy, right? Again, the fear-based thinking, instead of love. I mean, fear doesn't create laughter. Love creates laughter. Love comes from the heart. Laughter comes from the heart. Matter of fact, laughter is one of my essential elements of healing that people don't talk about. We have to laugh, but how are you going to laugh if you on the fear side of thinking and the fear side of energetics? You've got to be on the love side of energetics, the polar opposite. You get to choose on a daily basis. How do we? And most of us are on the fear side. That's a topic for a whole nother video. Go look at Leonard Honor's work on fear-based mind control, media manipulation. He does a very good job with that. Hypnosis, the hypnosis of life. Most of us are walking around like zombies in a trance, and the hypnosis of life is going through life, like one big circle. Easy control, easy to put in fear states, and easy to manipulate. And that's the way it is until we decide to wake up. But once you pull back that veil, and it's not so easy to pull back the veil because it takes energy to rise above the veil or and to penetrate through the veil and to see the reality of who you are and what you really are. Once you do that, you never have to worry about disease again. But again, it's difficult to do. So where do we start? We start with the simple. Number one, we start with light clay being polarized into dualities. We understand creation. We understand love and fear, the effect that it not only has on the mental state, but the effect that it also has on the body state, because again, fear-based thinking creates an acidic condition. We understand in the body the acid and the alkaline condition, and those things that create alkalinity will create health, will create harmony, will neutralize the acids, which are waste. And disease is nothing more than low energy acid states, what I like to refer to as toxic acidosis. Please go see Dr. Robert Morse's videos. He's got, I don't know how many he's got now. I'm counting at least 200 plus, but he's probably got more than that. So Dr. Robert Morse, MD, that's an N, not an MD. ND is naturopathic doctor. Go look at some of the work that Dan McDonald, Life Regenerated. Those are two good places to start on YouTube. Go do research on how to start a raw food diet, why a raw food diet is superior. Am I recommending you have to stay on a raw food diet for the rest of your life? I've said in other videos, no, but you probably want the core of your diet, at least 80 to 90%, to be raw food. And if you be careful about the meat products, today, because most of the meat, well, if we just talk about cows, is not grass fed. These animals are being kept in warehouses. There's a whole industry of death that's being created that's affecting the whole planetary system. We really don't want that. Is it all right to eat meat every once in a while? Yes, it's got to be clean meat. It should be grass fed. If you're going to eat fish, it should be wild caught. It should be fresh. It should be organic. Right? The fruits that we eat should be organic. Why? Because otherwise we eat the toxins. So, and again, toxins cause what? Acidic condition. And again, here we go with the whole thing. The one mention about raw food diet and health on a physical level. All right. So we talked about vibrating towards the love energy. We talked about alkalinizing the body. The blood has to remain on the alkaline side of chemistry, 7.4. Of course, if we get way out and over alkalinized, yeah, the body's going to have to then pull back to balance out that blood pH. But most of us don't have to worry about that. Most of us are on the acid side of chemistry, and this is why we have disease process going on. This is why you're likely looking at this video. You either, number one, well, you should always be using it to help yourself. Number two, to help others. And number three, to educate yourself so you can be a healer yourself. That's my goal, is to take everybody and make them their own healer, so you don't need me or anybody else. Or if you do need me, the mad scientist, the naturopaths, whatever, then you can use it in a knowledgeable, non-ignorant fashion. So that you don't do yourself great harm. As most people are doing now, calling themselves getting healthy by taking vitamin isolates, which I told you don't do. Not mineral isolates, not vitamin isolates, no isolates. However, if you want to take supplements, you can take herbal supplements. Why? Because herbs are food. All right? Nothing but dried plants. Good. We have a missing element in our diets, and most of our diets, even when we're eating a raw food diet. And I'm not talking about vitamin B12. Everybody's all caught up in vitamin B12. Eat your dark green leafy vegetables. You'll get most of your minerals, most of your vitamins, most of your B12 is in bioavailable form. A lot of people don't believe that. Go look at the nature. Go look at the animals in nature. They're not B12 deficient. Go look at your primates, which we are closest to. They are not B12 deficient, and they eat primarily 98% raw food diet. The missing links are really minerals and essential fatty acids. Minerals you can get eating a raw food diet, but especially with those green drinks, really sort of concentrated. You can get it from the herbs, because all the dried plants become concentrated herbs. These herbs are concentrated minerals. That's how most of them have a therapeutic effect. Of course, they have other chemicals or biochemistry within them that are natural, that the body can read and take in. When I talk about the super supplements course, and that's coming, matter of fact, it'll be part one will be the next video, and I will likely incorporate that with the last 5 elements of health and healing, and then go right into super supplements part one. And I'll make one video. It should be about 30 minutes, and we'll talk about vitamin isolates, why we don't use vitamin isolates. We'll talk about herbs, supplementation, and how to put the pieces together. But let's suffice to say right now, alkaline base, missing ingredients from the raw food diet that we must really focus on, and probably have to make sure that we may have to supplement. And the supplementation is with the minerals and with essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids can come from, well, most of us know about fish oil. My number one essential fatty acid supplement is coconut oil, because I put it on my body every day. I mean, I cover it wherever I can put coconut oil, I'll get it, because it's a natural skin moisturizer. It has lauric acid in it. It has other, obviously has omega-3 fatty acids. It's just a great oil with a great fat. See, fats are good and essential for life. Essential fatty acids, even cholesterol is an essential fat that the nerve need. We need these omega-3 fatty acids. We need omega-9s omega-6s too, but they have to be in balance, and right now, way out of balance. We need more omega-3s. I like hemp oil, I like flaxseed oil, I like olive oil. Olive oil is more with the omega-6s, it's still a very healthy oil. I like grapeseed oil. The list goes on and on of how you can get your essential fatty acids. Krill oil is an excellent source. Again, a lot of folks who are on a raw food diet get very dogmatic and say, I don't want fish oil and I don't want krill oil because it's animal based. Okay, then go get your hemp oil, go get your coconut oil. I mean, there's plenty. I myself, if I can find a well-made krill oil, I will use that krill oil. I will use a well-made fish oil, even a cod liver oil, if it's well-made, molecularly distilled, and doesn't have the mercury and all the pollutants that the fish are picking up. The hemp, those oil has to be organic, otherwise it's sprayed and you're getting toxins, so why bother? So those are go look up EFAs, or essential fatty acids. Go look up the importance of cholesterol. Cholesterol is involved in everything, cellular metabolism. It's involved in making of hormones. It's involved in phospholipids, which are the basic of your cell membranes. All your cells contain fat. It is a very important component in the myelin sheath, or the sphingomyelin sheath, which is basically the covering or the outer layer of nerves, and it allows for nerve conduction. And when the essential fatty acids are present, then your body gets cravings. When the minerals aren't present, your body gets cravings. And you notice that if you eat a raw food diet and you supplement with minerals and essential fatty acids, you don't get those crazy cravings. So really make sure that you're getting the minerals and you're getting the essential fatty acids. And again, because of the soil and because of some other things that are going on in the environment, even the raw foods are not as powerful as they were 20, 30, 40 years ago. So then we must use our own minds, our own creativity, our own understanding of where we are and where we stand today versus yesteryear, and make the appropriate adjustments. And I would say everybody, I like Shilajit, by the way, as a mineral supplement. Thank you, Dan McDonald, Life Regenerator, for turning me on to Shilajit, especially the micro Shilajit that you get on Amazon. I also like, I told you about the other essential fatty acids, the sources of those fatty acids. They cannot be underestimated. You must have essential fatty acid supplement every day. You must have your mineral supplement every day. Now, do you have to take Shilajit every day? And it's spelled Shilajit. No, but a little bit wouldn't hurt. You can just take a little bit and put it in water. Yes, it's got a sort of a bitter taste to it, but it's nothing more than concentrated plant minerals. And they have a special name for that. You can go look that up. But these from years and years and years of plant life being sort of condensed, and you get to have the minerals. All right. Obviously, salt. If you get the right salt, from black salt, from rock salt, from sea salt, unprocessed with no chemicals in it, chemical free. Now be careful with the black salt, high in sulfur. We've got to be careful with sulfur. We don't want to overdo it with the sulfur. So black salt only on occasion when it's high in minerals. Herbs, high in minerals. Dried herbs, high in minerals. Why? Because it's concentrated plant material. And certain herbs obviously have a cleansing effect. So when you go, if you have a problem, you're going on a raw food diet for at least 90 days, and you're cleaning your body out, detoxifying your body, you're getting rid of the acids, neutralizing the acids, moving the body, help the body, moving it out. And remember, for the rest of your lives, based on the world that we're living in today, with all the chemicals, with all the processed food, with all just the stuff in the air, the chemtrails, you have to be in a constant state of detoxification. The mind has to be in a state of constant detoxification. If you love yourself and your fellow man and your children and the people and your families and your friends and the people that you communicate with, the people you're trying to get healthy, they must have a constant framework of consciousness of detoxification. Always, raw foods are a detoxification diet. You can add herbs to accelerate that. Water, especially clean, pure water that's fluoride and chloramine free, and also free of all the crap that now we're finding pharmaceuticals and and other chemicals. That's a talk for another video and an article. I'll be writing an article on video and on just water, because it's so important. I'll be writing an article on the oils and the essential fatty acids, so it will be in written form as well. But those are the essential ingredients. But again, keeping it simple, mentally, conscious-wise. Love, fear, physically, alkaline, acidity. It is that simple and yet that profound. Remember, we are conditioned to think on the fear side. We've got to bring it back to the love side. We are conditioned to eat more acid, and this is what overloads the body with acid, corrosiveness, inflammation, obstruction, and then prevents the body from healing itself. The body will do, and of course remember the energetics of the sun. Please go out and get sunlight, expose your body to sunlight so your vitamin D2 or your inactive vitamin D can be converted to active vitamin D. Otherwise you will have to take a vitamin D supplement, and it's one of the only vitamin isolates I ever recommend to anybody is vitamin D3 from a natural source and from a company that makes it very cleanly and reputably. I'll list a couple of companies that I found for vitamin D, but it's important because most of us are not getting enough sunlight, and when we do get out in the sun, we got on all these clothes. I mean, if you go out with suit and tie like I have one today, like my hands and my head are the only things that are getting exposed to the sun. So you want to take off your shirt, you want to sit in your backyard or wherever, your porch, and just let the sun, go to the beach, take mini vacations to the beach for a day or two and just sit out there. I like to go surf fishing now, and that, I just have on my shorts and I'm out there surf fishing, even in the winter. In Southern California, we can do that. I was out there this weekend surf fishing, even though it was cold and windy, and but just the exposure to the sun. And by the way, it's a natural antidepressant, and also it's a natural energizer. The sun is a healer. Matter of fact, all forms of natural light are. And the cosmic light that we are created from, obviously, is the ultimate healer. So we are vibrating and getting those vibrations and those frequencies into harmony and a peaceful vibration. It has an effect on the body, calms everything, detoxifies, it helps in the process of detoxification, and you cannot get sick when you're on the love side of consciousness and on the alkaline side of physiologic biochemistry within the body. I don't want to get too deep today. I want to keep things simple. I want to welcome in the new year. We cannot have a discussion of health without light. We cannot have a discussion of health and healing without acid and base understanding, or acid and alkaline understanding, and love and fear understanding. Those are a must. So those of you who I'm treating, who I've recommended going to my YouTube channel, this is a good start for 2014. It's the first video, and I'll be putting others. I have others actually made. I have to just edit them, and right now I'm doing everything myself. So once I get really, really busy, the videos, it's not like I stopped making the videos. They're not that difficult to make. It's the editing and actually putting them in the right form, adding, cutting and splicing, and then uploading to YouTube. It's very time consuming. But I actually enjoy doing it. So I'm very technically oriented. I redid the Dr. Z Healing Arts website, so go take a look at that. Just to make it simple, nothing mind-blowing, just to make it simple, and I'm going to make it, then I'll start to add more images to make it more of a creative, visually stunning website to look at, so that the actual, just looking at the pictures, looking at, and I'll have videos embedded there, so you don't have to go to YouTube. You can just get it right from the website. Make it very, very simple. Just that fact, and I'll have recorded music that also is very harmonizing. So do go to the website, support the YouTube channel, comment on the YouTube channel, contact me on the Dr. Z Healing Arts, and I'll get back to you People have sent some very, very interesting questions to me, and I've answered them personally. And maybe I should start answering on the videos and make posts to answer so that everybody gets to share in what I'm telling. Because what I'm saying to one person applies to everybody else, even though they have a specific problem they want to work on. The approach is usually the same. Yes, we understand that the health and healing really can be simplified. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't take a PhD degree. It just takes a little bit of study, a little bit of application, a little bit of taking responsibility. Remember, healing is an art. It's a little different for everybody. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing, but there's certain just basics that just apply to everything and all of life. And so I'd like to end this video by again stating healing is an art. Healing is your responsibility. The thoughts that you feed on and the foods that you feed on are also your responsibility, and you must take the responsibility of the effect that has on your health, on your behavior, on your thinking, and how you interact with your fellow man, and how you interact with your own spiritual self. The personal responsibility in health is a big thing. We're too used to running around to this authority, that authority, and usually the authority is the mad scientists. My friends, I affectionately call them the mad scientists, sometimes have no clue about health and healing. A lot of waking up now, but part of my job is to wake them up too, as well as to wake the average guy up, and even the person that's standing in the middle who understands that, yeah, something needs to be done. Maybe they've gone on a raw food diet. They fail. Usually they fail because they get cravings, they get pullbacks. They don't have enough minerals. They don't have enough essential fatty acids. Let's end here. Peace, power, prosperity, but most of all, love to you and your families. And I will see you on the other side of optimum health and total life, vibrant energy. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for allowing me to be your humble servant. Until next time, goodbye. Remember to have fun. Remember to get out in the sun. Remember the simple lessons taught in the video today, because I'll be expounding on that for the rest of the year. This is the foundation video for the rest of the year, and keep a lookout for the Super Supplements course, part 1, that will be coming soon. I would say within the week. See you on the other side. Bye now.